Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about multitasking palettes that you already have in your collection. If you're like me, then I have really noticed myself being really drawn in to those quads or those palettes that have the bronzer, the blush, and the highlight all in one palette. I don't know why, but they have been calling my name lately. And I told myself, okay girl, hold what you got. Stop just for a minute, because the ones I've been looking at, they're a little bit expensive. The Natasha, Denona, the Charlotte Tilbury, like, they come with a heavy price tag. So I told myself, hold what you got, look in your collection, see what you already have that could give you that same multifunctional, multitasking effect out of stuff that's already in your collection. So I have rounded up 3 palettes that I think do an excellent job of really showcasing how to get the most functionality out of an eyeshadow palette that you already have in your collection. Please don't pay attention too much to the actual palettes, although I do think these are some really good hitters, and I have one from each price range, but don't pay so much attention to the actual product as so much as the formula that I'm looking for when it comes to a palette that could possibly give you that multifunctional perspective. So let's go. Really, when I think about the palettes that I have been drawn to lately, they've got a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. I don't know why, because I don't even highlight, but that's just what I've been looking at. So I want to actually show you guys how I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Born to Run palette. Number one, I think this is one of Urban Decay's heaviest hitters, hands down. Seriously, like, I freaking love this palette. If you look here, you see the range of colors here. So number 2, I think this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about and what you want to look for in a palette that could possibly function as a multitasking palette. You're going to look for one that has array of different finishes. So if you look into this palette, you can see that it does have some mattes and it has some shimmers. That's absolutely perfect. Also, when I look at this palette, I can see that it also has a nicer range of colors. So we do have some neutral, some warm tones, some everyday tones, but there are pops of colors and there are nice jewel tone shimmers that are really going to allow the versatility that you want to look for when it comes to a multitasking palette as well. Now, I already put this palette on my eyes because I wanted to show you what it could do from an eye perspective, but also just looking at it, I can easily see that I've got a couple different options for my bronzer, so something to warm up the perimeter of my face. I can also see that I have a couple different options for blush, so I have something in here to really add some color to the cheeks. And if highlighting is your thing, then I can see that there's an array of different color options for your highlighter. So here we have a palette that was already in my collection, and I can already get that multifunctional perspective from this already. So what I'm gonna do is, I already have most of my base makeup on, so my foundation, my concealer, and I did set everything with a powder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of finish up the rest of my face using the colors as an example of what I'm talking about. So I think what I'm going to do, I was originally wanting to go with one of these 2 shades for a bronzer to warm up my face, but I think they might be a little bit darker than what I'm thinking. So I'm actually going to go in with this color right here, and I'm going to use that to warm up the face. Now, I am using a brush with a little bit of an angle, a tulip shape, because the size of the pan is quite small, and if I want to get in there and get the color out, I need a very precise brush. So taking it on here, lightly dusting that across the cheek. Look at that. Oh, I'm glad I went with that color. That is, does that look as beautiful on the camera as it does in person? Oh, that is beautiful. And the thing is, guys, that tone is absolutely perfect. I'm just taking a little bit more of that and basically just bronzing as I normally would. This brush, I will say, is a rock star as well because it's so soft and it's multifunctional, but that tip, that tulip tip, is really going to help you, or just a smaller type brush is really going to help you get into this eyeshadow pan because it's small without getting different colors or more than you need. Kind of going to go over here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful shade, beautiful shade. I don't know if I said it, but this is Rift, or Riff. R-I-F-F. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That is so pretty. Look at that. And now I'm just going to take a little bit more. I had to move over these bangs here. Hope you guys can see. Just kind of adding a little bit of that warmth to the forehead. And whenever, just fix that bag right. And now when it comes to my nose, I don't always go in with a little bit of warmth. I do like to use whatever's left on the brush and really just kind of take it along the sides of my nose, just to bring a little bit of definition back to that area of my face and just to kind of match everything that's going on. Guys, I hope this is translating. Does this look as good in camera as it does in person? Oh, that turned out even better than I thought it would. There you go. And I'm using an eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to go in. I think I'm going to change up the brush, and I'm going to go in with one that's a little bit more dome shaped. It's still kind of fluffy, but still a little bit narrow. It's still a smaller brush. I think I'm going to use this to go in with my blush. You could easily have gone back in with the same brush, but I do want to be able to kind of show you just how to use different brushes depending on what's in your arsenal as well. So because I have a pretty light look going on here, I do want to stick with the lighter color tone for my blush. So I'm thinking, of course, I would normally gravitate towards either this one or this one. These would be beautiful too, but this one right here, I love a good orange on melanin skin, and this one right here is calling my name too. I think because the rest of the look is so light, I'm going to go in with this one right here. This is still shot using this brush, getting just a little on the tip, and now I'm just sweeping that along the cheek. Oh, y'all, this has turned out even better than what I thought. Don't you love that? Oh, that is just beautiful. Oh, going back in on the other side. Oh my goodness. And I'm just bringing it up. And as you notice, when it comes to applying my blush, I like to keep it to the sides of my face at more of an angle. I do have a video that talks about all about blush and talks about placement. I will link it and down below for you guys, because it's an older video, but the information in there is still good. But I do think that blush application does vary based on face shape. So don't just always go in don't always just go in on the apples of your cheek. Really pay attention to the structure of your face and where you want that color to be placed and what you want it to do. So I want to place my color as well as lift up the face. So this is why I put it on these areas, really keeping it to the side, only bringing it in just a little. Oh, guys, look at that. I hope this is going to look as good as I think it is when I go in to edit this video. Whew, I hope it does. So I'm going to stop there because your girl does not normally highlight, and I just hate to get into trying to pretend to do something that I don't normally do. But as I mentioned before, you could easily take these shades right here, even this one, and if you had deeper skin tone, you could go in with these colors over here, and you could really use these to bring that light to the cheeks. So again, this was a palette that was not advertised as being multitasking. It wasn't advertised as being a full face palette. It's just an eyeshadow palette, but here it is. I'm looking at it, I'm stepping back, I'm seeing what I've already spent my money on, seeing what's already in my collection, really taking a collective look at the colors and the finishes that are in this palette, and being able to get the biggest bang out of my buck, because this was an investment. It was $50, and for me, a $50 eyeshadow palette is still a luxury, guys. It's still an investment to me. And so now I feel better about that investment, because it's not only going to give me an array of beautiful eyeshadow looks from neutral to glam, but this is also going to help me multitask across the face as well. And I'm sitting here thinking, I wish I could go back. I did a video of what's in my travel bag, and I took this palette with me but didn't use it, and I feel so bad now because I really didn't understand the versatility that I could have got with just this palette. I wouldn't have had to bring anything else, and I would have picked this up every single day. So I'm really upset that I didn't utilize it to its fullest, but now I know it's in my collection. I'm loving it even more. You got multitaskers in your collection right now, guys. Face palette, eyeshadow palette, bam, right here. Now I want to go ahead really quickly and show you two other palettes that I think are perfect examples of these multitasking palettes, or these palettes that weren't advertised as full face palettes, but that you could definitely use for that. So going down just a little bit from the Urban Decay Born to Run, we're going to talk about the Juvia's Place Saharan Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette. I do believe this was in the teens, so definitely more affordable than the Urban Decay Born to Run, but a little bit more pricey than the next palette I'm going to talk about. This is a blush palette, but if you look in this palette, again, beautiful different shades of blushes, just so many different options here. But looking at it, I can also see I've got a little bit of warmth here if I wanted to bronze up the face, the perimeter. Here is a blush that's a beautiful color, or all of these are blushes that are beautiful. But if I wanted to do even just a simple foreshadow look, I could put this in the inner corner, I could put this on the lid, I could put this in the outer V, and I could blend everything out with this, and maybe even go in with this. Honestly, guys, I'm looking at this palette and I'm seeing so much going on in this palette, and it's just a blush palette. So again, take a second, step back, collectively look at what you already have here. Again, a different array of finishes, different array of colors and tones. Multitasker right here. Another one that I took with me to Hungary, and I did not really fully understand what I could get out of this palette until right now. So guys, I'm just as guilty of it as you are. We're learning together. But prime example of a one-stop shop right here in a blush palette. The last one I want to talk about is from Wet n Wild, and this is the Not a Basic Peach. Now this one, you guys know, is probably the most affordable. You can find it just about anywhere. I'll make sure I put the price up. But again, another perfect example of a little itty bitty eyeshadow palette that if you really took the time to look at it, you could see that you could get a almost full face out of it. Perfect example here. I can see some beautiful colors. This would be a beautiful, beautiful bronzer shade, especially on my skin tone, because it's got that reddish but warm brown look. I would probably definitely have to go in with the light hand, but I could see that being a beautiful way to warm up the face. Again, here's my favorite blush color right here. You can't go wrong with orange on melanin skin. You have several different colors here. This would be a pretty color if you wanted a gold highlight, or if you wanted something a little bit more frosty. Again, another color here if you just wanted to add it to the highlights of the cheek and you wanted some highlight but you didn't want the shimmer. So again, small, easy, simple, tiny little palette that I know does not cost more than $5 maybe. Multitasking, you can get almost a full face out of it right here. So again, guys, I just really want to concentrate on the formula of what I was looking for and how to get the biggest bang out of your butt. Really pay attention to what the palette offers. It's a palette that has an array of different finishes. So it has some mattes and it has some shimmers. It's a palette that has a range of different colors. So it's got some neutral, some warm, some simple tones, and then it's got some pops of colors. Really look for those palettes that are all inclusive, that are kind of like a full eye that you don't have to reach out of. Those are probably going to be the palettes that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, and you're going to be able to use them just as if they were a face palette. So I hope this information helps someone else out there. If you've got any palettes in your collection or that you know of that again are along these same lines, that even though they're not being advertised as full face, you could definitely get a lot of use out of them, definitely comment down below, because you guys know sharing is caring, and it takes a village. So I hope this information helps someone else out there. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. And while you're here on my channel, take a look around, see what else your girl has to offer. And if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.